Was it just a huge experiment? That's my thought right now. So you guys, this is super informal, and normally I have another phone where I can like look at the Bible and write my notes out, everything, but I'm on chapter 3 now. I just filmed chapter 2 notes and shared that with you, but now I'm reading chapter 3 on the way to pick up my daughter. I'm waiting in line and I'm just pondering, so I'm just gonna go off of what I'm initially thinking after I'm reading it, and I can't look at anything to go off of, no notes, and I can't open the Bible app on this phone, so bear with me here. But that's my thoughts as I was reading it. Chapter 3, when the serpent gets introduced, right, and deceives Eve into eating the apple, and then God, like, when he says later, he says, like, behold, oh, man, I wish I could read it, but basically, like, they cannot now they're aware of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Now they understand that they that there is good and evil, and they shall not live forever because they chose to sin, basically, right? They chose to eat the apple, and so now they know. And so I feel like if God is all knowing, right? So he knew, putting them there, okay, there's this good and evil thing going on, probably in other realms of the world, or the world outside the world, other realms, and knows that there's good and evil, and is trying to like protect us from that, and not and have us be here and live like an abundant, full, happy, non-aging, perfect bodies life, right? My question, why then even plant the tree of good of knowledge? Why even plant it in the garden if God intended, right, for all of us to have this abundant, full life? That's a very valid question. And I think I've asked this before, but like, I don't know, that's what makes me think, is it this huge experiment that God was like, hey guys, I know this exists outside of the earthly realm. I know that there's good and evil and all this stuff, and I know there's a whole thing about like the fallen angels and the angelic realm that I don't know much about. I'm still, again, learning. But let's go over here, and I'm gonna make this earth and the heavens and the stars and the animals and these beings, and we're gonna give them a chance to like fully live how it could be. Let's see if they can do it. You know? And we fell short, right? We caved into temptation, the serpent, because he even created the serpent. Why even create the serpent? And so it had me thinking really deep about like, why all of it to begin with in the first place? Like, why even do it? And yeah, it like, why even create it? He created the serpent, and now he knows, and super crafty, it says, the snake, and you know, and then and then Eve has an opportunity to say no, but she doesn't, because she's deceived, right? And then so she influences, peer pressures, her husband, right? And then when they're both confronted with God, God knows everything, right? So when he's walking through there and he's like, where are you? He already knew where they were. Like, you know, and like they're hiding, like, because they're aware now of this sense of like, we're naked. Like in chapter 2 at the very end, they weren't ashamed of their nakedness. Now all of a sudden they're ashamed, so they have this feeling of like not being modest, right? And so, and then God already knows, like he already knows, like, okay, I'm gonna ask them where they are, but like, let's see what they say. And you must have eaten, if Adam's response is, well, you know, we put clothes on because we saw that we were naked or whatever, then God's like, okay, who told you that? Because obviously the serpent is the one I created that knows about that, so it must be the serpent. But let me ask you and give you this chance to like redeem yourself, to like be honest about what took place and own responsibility for your own decision. And what does Adam do? He straight up just blames Eve, right? Initially, when I first read this in the beginning of my journey, I thought it was just like saying what it was. It wasn't necessarily like, well, this, like, Adam's just like, matter of fact, this is what happened. She came over here, she told me this, I did this. So I feel like that scripture alone, you could dissect and like Was he just stating fact of what really happened, right? She presented it to him, which is true. He took it and ate it. Maybe he was just trying to relay the facts, and there was no like blaming, so to speak, of like, yes, love. No, we're waiting for Sissy in the I can't buckle you, okay? You know, or it's like right away Adam doesn't take, you could see it too, both ways. You could see it like he's just relaying the events of the, like, how it took place, what happened, but he's not but in there he doesn't own up to the fact that he has a choice to tell her no. The same choice that she could have told the serpent no. So they both do the very same thing to each other. They're just pointing fingers, right? She points the finger at the serpent, he points the finger at her, and God's just probably laughing like, I already know all of this. Like, not laughing because it's not funny, because we could have totally lived forever. In these physical bodies, I think our souls do live forever. That's just my opinion, but like the physical realm of our being in our prime and not having to age and be in these bodies and die off kind of thing. So it's just okay, Lovey, it's all right, it's part of life, right? It's just inevitable that we enter these vessels and we leave these physical vessels. And so when he talked about too, like, now God is like, well, this is the choice you guys made, I gave you free will, this was part of the experiment, this was part of the whole thing that we were gonna do, is like give you this chance, and because you chose this way, now okay, I gotta do all the punishments, right? I gotta now, because because like I said in chapter 2, like once you're aware of something, you can't be unaware of something, right? So now they're aware and they can't be unaware, so then God's like, okay, I guess we're going this route. So he's like, well, let me, and even in all of that, he could be he did lay it down for the serpent, you'll be on your belly, right? And be like at the lowest of the lows as a snake. and then Eve, like, you're gonna have pain while you give birth, and your husband will rule over you. And Adam, you're gonna be working hard, sweating your butt off, trying to like just return back. But when he talks about bread, I thought about that too. I'm like, he gave life through the fruit, right? He gave food. The food he gave was fruit. That had me wondering too about meat eating. Anyways, that's a different topic. But so he had the trees of fruit, right, for us. And then he's like, okay, now you can have bread. I think of that, like, so many carbs and I don't know, I just, again, I'm taking this kind of literal, but like, now you're gonna like work really hard in farming and trying to figure out what kind of foods you're gonna make with wheat and all these things, but fruit, ideally, it was supposed to be like the healthiest food for you that you could have just lived off of. But now I'm gonna make you go work and sweat your butt off and return back to that dust that I first blew you from, right? He into his nostrils, the dust, and now you should go back to the ground. So is that why then everybody, when we bury people, right, we return back to dust, they have their graves, like, it's like, whoa, it's just mind-blowing how much you can pull from scripture. So but yeah, it had me thinking like so many questions and just like, wow. What baby? Oh, here you go. Oh, okay. Anyway, so this is just my take. The line is starting to move, so I gotta go. But this was like just off the cuff of what my thoughts were thinking. I wanted to get it out. I'll probably write stuff out and maybe redo this. Hold on, Lovey, I'll give it right back. There you go. And do it like I did the other ones, but I felt like I just wanted to share. So comment below, let me know what you think. Share it with a friend, and I'll see you in the next video. Some of these videos might have to be like this because, life. Anyway, all right, take care, guys. Bye.